think I should have won the Oscar this weekend.
For what?
Best actress.
Where were you acting?
Every day.
Oh. Vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow to view, vow, 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 vow to view,
vow to view each other's movies, even though we don't always like them, but it's okay because we love each other and movies too.
Hi everyone, welcome to Vow to View, your Doof Media podcast, all about marriage and the things we make each other watch. My name is the best. I'm Elyse Daly.
And I'm Scott Daly.
And together, I'm the best.
What are you doing?
I don't know, just thought I'd change it a bit.
What? But you ruined the whole flow. I'm off now.
No, you just gotta pick it up. It's called improv, babe.
I don't like improv. Improv, you're supposed to help your...
No, improv, you just go with it.
Yeah, but you're supposed to help me out.
You always say yes.
You're supposed to help me out.
No, I don't have to help you out. You just see what I'm doing and you go with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the best.
Thanks, babe.
At ruining intros.
I know.
This is the weekly podcast where my wife Elyse and I select a movie we like, loosely tied to a theme of our choosing. And then we make each other watch it. And then we get on microphones and talk about the movies, talk about ourselves. And then we also talk about some other stuff.
Talk about some shows, talk about some life, talk about some foods, talk about some dogs.
We talk about foods?
Yeah.
All right.
Your Rosies are sometimes the foods that I cook for you.
I love food.
I know.
It's my greatest weakness. Is food. And movies. And laziness.
Yeah.
And working too hard.
So it's really bad when you have food at the movies.
Ugh. Love
That's
it.
The worst.
Alamo Drafthouse. This episode sponsored by the Alamo Drafthouse.
Not sponsored by the Draft House.
But not really.
Not sponsored.
This episode sponsored by the thousands of dollars Lisa and I have probably spent at the Alamo Drafthouse over the last 4 years.
We should never track how much money we spend there.
That would terrify me.
That would make me so mad at you.
Elyse,
think of all of the money we could have saved up and put into something.
We could probably buy a house right now.
Yeah. No joke.
Well, you know what?
I guess we just should not go to the Draft House, and every time we think that we should go to a movie, we should wait about 3 more weeks until we can get on a cheaper ticket one, and then we can go and not go to the Draft House, and then we can save money.
That's not really going to work like with my whole my deal.
What's your deal?
I kind of have to see the new movies so I can talk about them. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
But we didn't go see Happy Death Day 2.
I know. I want to. I need to get to see it. It's just I'm too busy.
You walked right past it in the theater.
I did. And we saw Funny Face.
So you know what else I was thinking while we were walking outside of the theater of Funny Face? I thought, we don't always, we have now structured it to where the movies, that you and I pick, it's just one a week, but they go together. But, we could pick new movies. Like a new movie that neither of us have seen, but that one person really wants to see. And then we could pair it with an old movie from our childhood, too.
That's complicated.
But then that means when we go to the movies, because we just go to the movies and we go to see that movie, it works right on in. It works right on into the master plan. It's called thinking smart. Right? It's called working smarter. Not harder.
Okay. Stop. You're going full teacher right now.
It's called solutions-oriented thinking.
Elyse, we're not going to do that.
It's called
Oh, Jesus.
Being the best.
Elyse, we're starting a new theme this week. We are finished with horsepower.
Oh, yes, we are.
We are moving. What is the name of the new theme?
Well, in geometry.
Oh, Jesus. It's faces. It's faces. The new theme of the next 2 episodes is faces, and we are starting today with Elise's movie. And Elyse, what movie is that?
Funny Face.
Funny Face.
Funny Face.
So we're going to be talking...
That's not the tune.
I don't know what the tune is.
Funny Face.
We're going to be talking all about Funny Face today.
Yep.
But first, we got some stuff
and
to
just
get
other funny
out
faces.
of the way.
Scott's face.
So mean.
Funny face.
So mean.
But we can say that each other's faces are funny faces when in reality, the funny face that was in Funny Face was not really a funny looking face.
That's true.
So I'm saying your face is a funny face.
She's
but
saying,
really what that means is you have a beautiful
like Audrey
face.
Hepburn.
Exactly.
I look like Audrey.
I'm saying you're gorgeous. Now, I don't know if Audrey really did that with her arms, but you know what? The rest of the world just missed out.
There's like silk gloves on them. Yeah. That's
the day I see you wearing elbow high silk gloves is the day I know that something is wrong.
It's tomorrow, baby.
Oh,
we're coming in the mail.
I'm so excited. What color did you get?
White, of course.
White.
Like a classy son of a bitch.
You know, it's easy to get dirty. You should have gone with black. You're going to spill things all over it.
Yeah, but...
You're going to end up scratching your face and getting the oils from your face on your glove, and then now no longer white gloves.
Yeah, but I'm protected from my dog's hair now.
But if it's silk, then it's not going to stick anyways.
I don't know, babe. That's what they always say.
I know, because I have fabric that does not stick.
So at least, can we talk about the things we
What are we supposed to talk about? I've just been talking about life. Isn't that what people like?
I don't
Just
know.
us rambling on.
Honestly, I don't even know anymore.
I don't either.
Elyse, what's going on with that show you watch?
The Bachelor. Oh, that was disgusting. And now you're going to have to actually drink that coffee that you just had in your mouth and spit back into your cup.
Well, that was throw up.
And pretended to throw it up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, that would just already have this gross mental picture, and I could not drink the rest of that coffee.
Why?
It would just mentally throw me off.
I just did it.
Yeah.
At least let's talk about The Bachelor.
Okay.
This week on The Bachelor,
This week on The Bachelor, it was hometown dates. So our final four, Tasia, Kaylin, Hannah, and Cassie.
Wow,
now,
you know
Cassie
their names.
has had a lot of people say that she's not there for the right reasons. Then actually her friend Kaylin came last week, if you recall. You probably don't.
Nope.
There was the date with the four people, and there were 2 roses that were going to be handed out, and Hannah got one. Then the other girl that had never been kissed but got her first kiss from Colton while she was on the show, she decided to leave, and so she just rode off on the train, which left Kirpa and Cassie. And Kirpa was telling Colton about how awful Cassie was and about how she didn't really want to be there in order to be with Colton in the end. She just wanted to be on the show in order to get her Instagram fame and so forth. Anyways, Kaylin came, defended her friend Cassie, got Cassie to stay. Kirpa went home, and you know what? It bit her in the butt today because Kaylin went home and Cassie got to stay, even though Cassie was the only one out of the 4 that did not say she was falling in love with him or already in love with him, which I think is ridiculous.
Wait, which was the one that said that? Cassie.
Cassie. The one who really clearly does
God.
not like him.
Well, I mean, she doesn't not like him.
She is neither invested nor really, she's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'll just say that.
So this is my favorite part of the show.
You have so much coffee on your mustache. I can't take you. Yeah, did you get it now? It was like dripping. It looked like fangs.
Well, yeah. So
maybe it's time to trim the stash a bit.
I don't think so.
I think it's time to trim the stash.
Elyse,
yeah.
This is my favorite part of the show.
Why?
Because this is the part of the show where these men have to go to the fathers of the girls that they're dating and explain to them that I want to ask your permission to marry your daughter.
If it gets to the point where I would want to marry your daughter, can I marry your daughter?
Yeah. Like I'm just imagining the situation where I went to your father and said, "Sir, I'm falling in love with your daughter. I think I maybe kind of want to marry her."
No, I wish you would have just said, we're going on this trip to New York, and you know, if things go right, I'm thinking, maybe I got a ring, but I don't know yet. So if it happens, what do you think? Can I?
Am I also dating 3 other women? Yeah. Am I telling their fathers this same thing right now?
Literally the exact same thing.
Yes, I am. Please say yes. And there's always the funny part where you can tell that the dads are just like, what the fuck is this? Because like the hilarious thing about this whole show is that like, and the reason why I like Hometown so much is because like all the women and men that sign up to be on the show like have chosen to do this, right? They have decided to come on the show. They have decided to put themselves on television. And then there's their family. And there's some members of the family that are like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'll be on TV. I love The Bachelor. And there's some members of the family, usually the fathers. It's mostly the fathers of the men or women that are always like, what the fuck? What is this? This doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like the show producers like try to get them not to call out the absurdity of the show as much. They do it sometimes, but it's always kind of reserved, right? It's never framed as this is absurd. It's always framed as, you guys haven't known each other for that long. I'm not sure about this.
You can't put a relationship in the microwave. That was my favorite line from it. You can't microwave a relationship.
Right.
It's true.
And it's just so funny to me because you have these people clearly trying to be like stars on television. And then you have their normal family members that are just like, what the fuck is like, no, like the absurdity of the idea of going to 4 different men in 2-hour span of time and asking all 4 of them for their blessings to marry their daughters is the most insane thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the desire to want to do that. I did that with your father. And we had a whole conversation about how, like, it's not like I don't see it as asking permission. It's not like your father has the authority to release you to me or some of that.
Didn't you exchange 2 goats for me?
I did. Yeah, I did.
That's what I thought. Great milk.
Yeah.
We still use it to make cheeses to this day.
An hour long talk about the dowry situation by itself.
Yeah.
But I like to do it because it's just respectful and be like, look, these are my intentions, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not so much as asking for permission. It's more just like, I want to make sure that you, her family, are on board with these things. And that's kind of the way Colton did it as well.
No, he said, I'm falling in love with your daughter. If it gets to that point, do I have your blessing to marry your daughter?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think he framed it as like he needed permission. I think he was framing it more as it's important to him that the family of the woman he's going to spend the rest of his life with.
I guess he didn't frame it as clearly or as eloquently.
Well, yeah, because he's kind of dumb.
I mean, yeah,
he's kind of stupid.
He played football.
Okay, that'd be nice. Be nice.
You get hit in the head, you get messed up.
Yeah, but not the quarterback. They're protected.
He wasn't the quarterback.
He wasn't?
No.
Who was he?
I forget, but not the quarterback.
He probably got hit in the head.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's just a ridiculous. Like it's the moment when like you can feel the absurdity of the show pushing against its barriers, and like it must be a lot of work to edit this one, and like to strip it down to actually this is a totally normal thing that's happening now, and it's not at all weird that we're doing this, and it's not at all weird that the first time a man is meeting his potential future father-in-law, he's going to be asking for permission to marry their daughter. It's just insane to me. And I love laughing at it. It's so ridiculous. So I actually enjoyed this week's episode of The Bachelor.
That's good.
As a twist here.
I was looking up to see if I could figure out what position he actually played on the football team, but it doesn't really say.
Probably because he didn't really play. Maybe he just sat on the bench. He'll still have a position.
He was signed to the Philadelphia Eagles practice squad. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it's practice squad. Just a guy there for the good players to smack.
Yeah. So he did get hit in the head.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
So next week is the episode where Colton jumps over a wall, which is like the thing that they've been advertising like incessantly since the beginning of the season, of this like most dramatic moment where he just jumps over a gate and is just like, I quit. I wonder, like, it's going to be so hilarious to me if it's just him like saw something cool somewhere and wants to go check it out. And it's not at all. Stop spoilers, Elyse.
It's not.
If you're going to make me watch the show, don't spoil it for me.
But I didn't tell you what it was.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You contextualize
well, it's not the Billy
thus
Goat.
Ruining it.
It's not the Billy Goat.
Okay. What, the Billy Goat?
Yeah. the goats that you need to exchange for the daughter, they're not on the other side of the fence.
Okay, well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Let's just say it's the most dramatic season of The Bachelor ever.
Well, we'll have that to look forward to next week, even though I thought we were going to get to take next week off. But now you're telling me that that's not the case.
Well, that's not what was supposed to happen. It was supposed to be Women Tell All overnights finale. That's what always has happened.
Well, now it's overnights.
But now they're doing, overnights on Monday, Women Tell All on Tuesday, finale the next week. So are you really upset because now it's a week less?
Yeah, but I wasn't going to watch The Bachelor next week, and now I have to.
But you only have to watch one night.
Yeah, I did. I watched one night tonight, too. Yeah. And it was still bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this one was funny.
Yeah, you enjoy the hometown.
Can we be done with this now? Let's be done.
Yep. So we're going to do something a little bit different for this next little segment that we usually like to call the Rosies and Thornies.
It's the Rosies and Thornies Oscars edition.
Oscars.
Every rose has its thorn.
Has its thorn.
Just like every night has its dawn.
Dawn, dawn, dawn.
Every cowboy sings a sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah. Jesus.
We will. Oscar.
Are you ready?
Yeah. I was just introing the Oscars part with Queen, you know.
Yeah, so the Oscars were last night, so we thought it'd be fun to do a Rose and Thorn segment centered around the Oscars instead of just making my thorns the Oscars. We thought we would do a whole thing around it because
I thought you were going to make me your thorn.
In this family, the Oscars are kind of a big deal.
They're the Super Bowl of the Daily household.
They are.
They are.
We take bets.
We do.
We eat food.
We do.
I always lose my bracket,
we take the
ballot.
next day off of work.
We did not do that.
We did not this year, but we considered it.
Man, those 2 years in a row where the day after the Oscars were snow days was the greatest moment of my life.
It was the best. What happened to snow? Climate change.
The climate change. Yeah.
Never again.
Thanks, Donald.
Rumsfeld.
What?
Duck. What?
So stupid. Just listing Donalds.
Yeah.
And the first one you go to is Rumsfeld, and
know.
then immediately to Duck.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Elyse.
He who must not be named.
Let's talk about your thorn first.
Yes.
So the Oscars were last night, the 91st annual Oscars. What did you not like about them?
So there's this movie that was supposed to be really good that I evidently didn't see, and everyone is raving about it.
What is that movie?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
That can't be because you went and saw that
I
movie.
did go and see it, but I think that for some reason there was something switched in the theater because everything that it was getting, I just kept thinking, did we see the same movie? I'm a little confused.
Surely.
Did anyone else watch the movie, or were they just mesmerized by the chiclets in Rami Malek's mouth the whole time? Because that's all I could see until he finally had the mustache prosthetically put on to his face, and then it covered the amount of the teeth that they used to put into his mouth to make it look like it was Freddie Mercury's teeth. And I just, the only good part was the last part of the movie. I loved the music, but he wasn't really singing.
That's my favorite part about this whole here.
I wish I saw the Bohemian Rhapsody that everyone else saw. I really do.
It's a bad movie. It's
not bad. It's
bad.
Just not great. It's just good.
It's not very well edited. I don't know if I sent you that clip of like one of the scenes where it's like the worst edited scene ever. Rami Malek is fine. I mean, you're right. He's lip syncing, which is a little weird. Like that's the thing everyone's talking about today is that the scene that they showed, where they do as they're doing the nominees and they show a scene from a performance from the movie, and the scene they showed of Rami Malek in this movie was him sitting at a piano lip singing because he was not actually singing. So I just you couldn't pick up a scene where he's doing more acting than I don't know. I like Rami Malek. I'm happy for him. I hope he has a long, successful career. This is a bad movie, and I kind of don't understand. I'm with you that I don't get what people saw in this movie, besides the fact that Queen, as it turns out,
Queen.
is a really good band.
It's a fantastic band. I'm very interested in the history of the band.
Yeah, but it was fake.
But that was the thing, was like, was I watching a movie about the history of the band? Was I watching a movie about Freddie Mercury? Was I watching... I didn't see the movie that everyone else saw.
Yeah.
And
it won 4 awards last night.
I don't get it. And then the movies, I mean, I guess it's just the wonderful thing about the fact that it's the Academy Awards and is, you know, like everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and that's fantastic and that's great. But, you know, I was talking to my coworker today, and it wasn't that I just was completely apathetic towards the Oscars because there were no good movies this year, because I really feel like there were good movies. Mm-hmm. It was just that the movies that I really truly felt were good were evidently not the movies that they wanted to bring attention to this year. Not that they were bad, not that these movies were better. They just didn't want to give them the attention because they were trying to go for something different. Yeah. And I think that that's a shame.
It's just, I mean, like, here's the thing we have to say. At the end of the day, this is a political event that is primarily won by studios that spend the most money. The Oscar campaigns are $1 million enterprises and Bohemian Rhapsody was a very successful movie, and it was backed by a major studio that had a lot of money to burn on the Oscar campaign. So that makes sense. But it is also very silly. Yeah, I mean, my number one film was not nominated.
What was your number one? I forgot.
Don't even remember anymore. I liked First Reformed a lot. That wasn't nominated. I liked Eighth Grade. That wasn't nominated. If Beale Street Could Talk was not nominated for Best Picture.
How did that not win score? How did that movie not win Best Score? I want everyone to go back and listen to all of those scores. Aside from Black Klansman, I could understand that. But Black Klansman didn't even win. And listening back to that over, you know, like the introduction, I thought, you know what? I'd be okay if that won. But
Black Panther won.
Black Panther won?
It's a good score. It's okay. It's just, look.
They don't know movies. They don't know music. They don't know anything. Well, we're not watching the Oscars anymore. Screw the Super Bowl.
They do know music. Because you know how the Oscars work, right? The people in the different branches of the Academy are the ones that vote for the awards.
Yeah, well, they don't know it.
Well, it's just they didn't see them. Like, there's no requirement when you're turning in your ballot that you had to see all 5 movies nominated in the category. So more often they see the ones that are big movies or that had giant ad campaigns to send the screeners to
You're serious
Academy
that
members.
You don't have to actually have watched all of the movies in order to pick the one that you think should win.
How do they regulate that? How do they regulate whether you've seen all the movies?
That should not be allowed.
How do they?
It's like not properly training your judges in order to judge a competition.
Some Academy voters can choose to abstain from certain awards, and some do.
Well, they shouldn't be able to vote if they don't have all of the comparisons in order to make.
How do you regulate that?
I don't know, but you should figure out a way to do it.
It's not possible. Just show me your ticket stubs. Prove to me that you watched the movie.
Well, you know what? MoviePass did it, so why can't the Academy?
It's a little different.
It's not.
Most of the members of the Academy get the movies and screeners that are mailed to them from the studios.
Well, you can't vote unless you write a paper about it.
There you go. That's the only solution. You have to write an essay, a 3-page essay about each movie nominated in the category.
Exactly. And if you don't want to put forth the effort, then we don't want your vote.
Well, then in the 2020 Academy Awards, there will be
one vote wins them all.
0 winners, because no one's going to do that. Okay. So my thorn, I mean, I think both of our thorns are kind of the ridiculousness around this. Green Book won the Best Picture. I'm not going to comment on that because we didn't see the movie. I don't really have any interest in seeing that movie. I've read a lot of...
Everyone says it's great that I've talked to. I don't want to go into it. I don't want to go into it. I don't want to go into it. It's just...
I've read plenty of think pieces about why that movie is problematic as it is. But it won 2 Oscars last night, Best Screenplay and Best Picture. So that's Green Book. The weirdness of... So I don't want to get into it. So the way Best Picture is done is by a ranking system, right? You don't just vote for one thing. You rank all nominees in order of preference. And when you start doing that, things can get wacky, especially when you have a movie like Roma, which is very popular, but also is a Netflix movie, and you have a lot of Academy members that are very anti-Netflix.
Yeah. Why would you ever release something on Netflix? Why not in the theater? Oh, wait, they did release it in the theater for a little bit.
To be qualified for an Academy Award, it has to be released in the theater. It's part of the requirements. But yeah, so I mean, I was kind of bummed that Spike Lee didn't win for director. I was very happy for him that he won for original screenplay or adapted screenplay. But I was kind of bummed that he didn't win for director because he should have won. He should have won a directing Oscar a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll get another chance. I don't know. But it was delightful seeing how happy he was.
Oh
win.
my gosh. Him and Samuel L. Jackson. Just like hashtag friendship goals right there.
All right, Elyse. Speaking of which, let's move on to the positive sides of the Oscars. What was your rose from this Oscar ceremony?
Okay, so I had two different things. One of them just, I think, ties really well into our entire movie that we watched with, can we just talk about how beautiful everyone looked in shades of pink? The runway was on point this year. I will say there are years where there are very hideous dresses, and the hideous dresses have no redeeming qualities to them at all. But I will say the majority of the hideous dresses, they were bad, but they weren't the worst that I've ever seen. So I really appreciated the runway and the really bright pink. Like, can we talk about 51-year-old Julia Roberts? My word, damn. She was smashing. Jaw dropping.
I said last night that I think this is the most beautiful she has ever looked.
I think so too.
Crazy.
And it's the color. It's that color pink. It's so bold. It's so vibrant. And everyone looked fantastic in it that wore it. But that was not the best part about the Oscars, Scott. The pink was wonderful because we were thinking pink for Funny Face. But let's talk for a second.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Let's talk for a second about the musical performance that needed no introduction.
And it didn't get one.
They didn't need it. They just pushed everything out. They started the background. They stood up. And mind you, she did have a costume change in there.
Oh, yeah.
But
she was wearing Audrey Hepburn diamonds from Breakfast at Tiffany's, I believe.
Well, the chemistry. People say there's nothing going on.
Are you talking about the moment in the Academy Awards where Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga literally had sex on the stage in front of everyone?
That eye contact, it did happen, didn't it? It did happen. Everyone saw it. But it was so quick that then they were like expertly jumped back into their clothes and exactly where they were. Mm-hmm. But we all saw it. Yeah. We saw it, including his baby mama down there. She saw it too. So she had to be the first to stand up to say, I will stand up against you. This is the last time you are performing the song with her. Never again. Because, man, those eyes they locked.
Maybe they're just really good actors.
I don't think you get that sort of chemistry just by acting. We will say that. It's a little bit of a method acting mentality, I think. It's just for the acting.
It was a great performance, though. I really liked it. Jokes aside, it was one of the best parts of the night. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I love that song.
I think I could watch her perform that any which way she wanted to all the time.
We bought A Star Is Born over the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to watch the whole movie again. I would love to watch the first half of that movie. I love the first half of that movie.
We'd watch the special features with the other things of the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking great.
In the shallow.
The build-up.
In the shallow.
That movie is a mountain, right? And it all builds up to that performance.
And then it's shallow.
And then it just collapses down the bottom side. Okay.
I'm off the deep end. Watch.
You're a better singer than what you're doing right now.
I know.
It's like you're not really trying.
Well, I don't want to blow up the mic. And I mean, I'm not Lady Gaga. I really try.
You don't know how to not sing loudly. That's like your thing.
I think it is. I think I'm better when I'm loud.
Elyse.
Yeah.
My rose is my queen.
Oh my gosh. I wanted to say this, but you had already claimed it, so I couldn't.
Olivia Colman.
The best speech ever.
Olivia Colman shocked the world when she won Best Actress.
I was so excited, though.
No one expected this. Everyone had Glenn Close winning. Glenn Close.
She dressed up like an Oscar because she thought she was going to win. The poor thing.
Yeah.
She became so close again.
Everyone thought Glenn Close was going to win. And suddenly they call Olivia Colman's name. And she is just wonderful. She's excited. She acts like exactly how I act when good things happen to me, where I'm like, this is hilarious. This is never happening again. Yeah. It was such a wonderful, like, there were a lot of good speeches and there were a lot of heartfelt, impactful speeches, but hers was just like this is why you watch the show. Just a delightful, like, surprising, hilarious, off the cuff, emotional response to this. It was just something that, and we've been watching Olivia Colman for a while. She was in that show Broadchurch, and she was excellent in that show. I mean, I remember her, and she was in a bit role in Hot Fuzz, and I just think she was always been a very talented actress. And
she's gonna get a lot of Emmy nods too when she is the queen.
She is
in The Crown.
And I can't like look, the Oscars don't matter, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's a silly award show, but also they do matter, because you better believe that Olivia Colman's agent this morning has a bunch of emails from people wanting to cast her in some more stuff, right? Like, when you win an Academy Award, it helps your career. When you give attention to someone like this, it helps their career. And sometimes when you lose an award, it helps their career too, because you better believe that Glenn Close is also getting a bunch of emails this morning from producers that are like, let's do it. Let's get her her Academy Award. 7 times she lost. Number 8 is the lucky charm. Let's cast her in this thing and get her award. Yeah. And it's going to, so losing here is going to help Glenn Close's career. Winning here is going to help Olivia Colman's career. And I loved the moment. It was great. It was great. It was the best part of the show. Best part of the show. And then we went on to find out Best Picture, and I was like, oh, bummer.
She predicted the winner with her dress.
What?
She wore a green dress. She knew.
I see. I see.
And now all 3 of those women have won Oscars.
That's true.
That are in that movie.
Did you see how freaking happy for her
Emma Stone was? It was the sweetest thing.
Apparently she was like out in the hallway afterwards, and like a reporter just overheard her saying, she is just the most wonderful person. I am so, and she's like weeping. Happy for her.
That's so sweet.
Great. Yeah,
I think it's good. I just like her a lot. She's funny.
So at the end of the day,
I'm glad that movie won something too, because out of all the Best Picture nominees, I think that was really the one that I liked the most.
I thought you didn't like that very much.
No, I liked it.
The Favorite?
Yeah, you just saw it on a day where I saw a lot of other movies that I liked too.
It's true.
So that was my least. No, it wasn't the least. Was it my least favorite? What were the?
We saw. We saw
RBG, Beale Street, and The Favorite.
We didn't see RBG. We saw the
RBG On the Basis of Sex
biopic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a stacked day.
I think The Favorite was my favorite of that.
I thought it was yours too.
But I really liked
Beale Street was my favorite.
And then
maybe it was The Favorite, and then On the Basis of Sex.
Beale Street is another movie I don't know if I'd want to watch all the way through, but there are certain scenes in that movie that I want to watch. It was
just so beautiful. You need to buy me that soundtrack.
The Regina King scene in that, when she's sitting in front of the mirror. Congratulations on your well-earned Academy Award, Regina King.
Just look in a mirror. Look in a mirror and you can win an award.
Let's talk about Audrey Hepburn, though.
Okay, she can look in a mirror. She won an award, too.
Did she win? How many Oscars did she win?
I know that she won one for Roman Holiday. She might have really only won the one for Roman Holiday. She was nominated, I think, for some others. But really, I know that was her first Oscar. She won Best Actress. No, she was nominated for Best Actress quite a few times, but she only won the one for Roman Holiday.
Yep.
She was nominated for Wait Until Dark, which you've seen. Great. She was nominated for Breakfast at Tiffany's. Seen. Great. Nominated for The Nun Story. I won't make you watch that. You're welcome. And then nominated for Sabrina, which you will watch. You're welcome.
All right, so let's talk about the movie that we're all here for. Let's talk about Funny Face.
Okay, so Funny Face, per Scott's summarization, is A fashion magazine photographer, Dick Avery, Fred Astaire, in search of a good backdrop for his intellectual photo shoot, rudely invades a Greenwich Village bookstore. The bookstore is run by Joe, a young philosophical empathicalist. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Empathicalist.
You have to say it like Audrey Hepburn says it, though. Empathicalist.
Empathicalist. My English accent is coming back. It's so nice that it's there when I don't really need it. It's because I listened to Olivia Colman. I'm sorry, I ruined your summarization.
Summary, please.
A young philosophical empathicalist who apparently has a very funny face, despite looking like Audrey Hepburn. Dick becomes creepily obsessed with Jo and forces the magazine to build an entire fashion line around her before he's even asked for her permission. Then he bribes her into accepting the deal and kidnaps her to Paris. They dance a lot, fall in love, and prove that French philosophy professors are just old horn dogs. It's a classic.
So that is Funny Face, the 1957 movie. Elyse, talk to me about why you picked Funny Face.
Funny Face is one of the Audrey Hepburn movies that I remember watching when I was younger. We went on the Audrey Hepburn kick and watched a lot of those, including The Nun Story, which was awful. I don't ever want to watch The Nun Story again. It was long and tragic.
I'm going to pick The Nun Story.
But Funny Face is actually a very iconic Audrey Hepburn movie for the dancing scene that she had in the cafe in Paris.
Uh-huh.
And it was also kind of reawoken, I guess, brought to the forefront in a Gap commercial a couple years ago. And then I remembered how much I liked Funny Face after that. And, so it was just kind of, it's one of those movies that I enjoyed. I hadn't seen it in a while, but again, everyone knows my love for Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah.
So,
but you said
Fred Astaire.
You said, yeah. It's frickin' Fred Astaire.
Yeah.
I think you said a trivia to me that in casting this movie, they lied to both Fred Astaire and Audrey Hepburn.
Both parties, the producers said, "Oh yeah, Fred Astaire's already signed on," and then Freddie was told, "Oh yeah, Audrey Hepburn's already signed on," and they did that in faith that they thought that both people, after knowing the other would have signed, would not have passed up the opportunity to work with the other.
And they were correct.
Yes, which I think is, I was telling you too, Audrey Hepburn, which I don't think that you had known, was actually training to be a ballerina before World War II. Mm-hmm. And then once World War II hit, it was not a possibility anymore. And so she had to give that up. But I think that this movie probably meant a lot to her because of the opportunity to dance again. And so that was fun.
And she got to sing too.
Yes, she did get to sing. But this was her actual singing voice.
Yeah.
And then, My Fair Lady, they dubbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's because
it wasn't great.
I love Audrey Hepburn. I think she's fantastic. She's a wonderful actress. She's just not that strong of a singer.
She's not.
You can tell they composed the songs around her voice, right? Where they didn't really push her at all. And any of the scenes where the music really needed to be pushed, she wasn't the one singing them. But she's a good dancer. Yeah. And Fred Astaire is a really good dancer, of course. He's freaking Fred Astaire. I enjoyed this movie. I think the bohemian cafe scene was just fantastic.
Her dancing.
Well, that's her
interpretive dancing.
That's one of the things. I had never seen this movie before, and it's just one of those things that you've never seen the movie. You have no idea what the movie's about, but I knew this is the scene where Audrey Hepburn in a black turtleneck and black pants did interpretive dancing in a cafe. And it's just it just becomes cultural osmosis, right? You just know this. So I'd never seen the scene all the way through, but I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And it was just as good. It's one of those moments where you know why this became a cultural phenomenon, because
it was Audrey Hepburn.
Well, it's Audrey Hepburn.
And then it was Audrey Hepburn acting like that.
And it's hilarious. Yes. It's so funny. You can tell she's having such a good time. And I don't even know how choreographed it was. I mean, certainly parts of it were choreographed. But there are parts where, I think she's just, doing whatever the hell she wants to do. And it's fantastic. And it's this, it's a dance scene in a Fred Astaire movie where Fred Astaire is sitting in a chair the whole time and just watching. And
probably just biting his nails
right.
And just so tense the whole time, because he was an associate choreographer for the whole movie. There was the main choreographer, and then he was also given a credit to it. And so, probably all of the scenes where he was actually dancing, he came up with the choreography. But then at that, he was aware of exactly what she was supposed to do. And I was talking to my mom about the fact that we went and saw this movie over the weekend, and she was asking me if I had ever heard the fact that it was a well-known trait of Fred Astaire that he made his partners cry.
Oh, yeah,
I think there was only one
a
person
complete and
that
total
he
asshole.
maybe didn't make cry because he was such the perfectionist that it was just do it again, do it again, do it again.
Yeah.
And so I just almost kind of imagined too Audrey Hepburn just doing that again and doing it again.
Yeah, I
and
kind
he
of
was like, no, you didn't do the piano right.
I
Lean
kind of
over
want to
the
know
piano.
how many times she had to do that scene.
Oh my gosh.
Hilarious. Yeah, I mean, so obviously, like, I love Fred Astaire, despite him being a complete and total asshole.
Yeah.
I think we can acknowledge someone's bad on-set behavior while also saying that they are an incredible performer.
I mean, the people that are the most brilliant are often flawed in that way.
There was some parts of this movie made me uncomfortable, though.
Okay.
I mean,
29 years, Scott.
Yeah.
That's my age right now.
Audrey Hepburn is 29 years old in this movie.
Yeah.
Fred Astaire is whatever 29 times 2 is. He's
58. No, he was 60. Was she 29? I thought that he had hit 60.
I think they're 29 years. I think he's 60 or just about to turn 60, and she's 28 or 29.
Okay.
It's icky. It's icky.
It's one thing if you can't tell that they're that old, but he did not age as well as the people these days age.
He looks like he looks like a 60-year-old man.
He does,
and there's nothing wrong with him being a 60-year-old man.
No,
but
nothing wrong.
It's just a little weird to me that they like.
I mean, if I saw a 60-year-old man on the street and he was with a 29-year-old woman, I would think,
And I don't want to disparage people who have real life healthy relationships with people with huge age disparities. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
You do you. But it is a little weird when they put it in a movie. Like, this was a choice they made because they wanted Fred Astaire and Audrey Hepburn in the movie. And this is the kind of thing where, like, I didn't know. Like, I knew that this was the Audrey Hepburn Fred Astaire movie. I didn't know if they were going to actually do, like, Audrey Hepburn and Fred Astaire are going to be in love.
Yeah.
And then there's the scene in the bookstore near the very beginning. And you're just like, it just kind of dawns on you that, oh God, this is what we're doing. And I was just like, it's just because there's another character in this movie, the owner of the magazine, the woman who do you think was Devil Wears Prada? Was that character based off of this?
It reminded me a lot of her.
Like it.
Yeah.
She, I think, is probably about the same age as Fred Astaire in this movie. And whenever the three of them were on screen together, it looked like father, mother, child. That's what it looked like. And it just like made it all the more skeevy to me. Like, it just, I don't know. Like, and I'm not saying their performances weren't good. I thought Audrey Hepburn did a great job convincing me she was in love with the 60-year-old man. It just, I don't know. It just skeeved me out a little bit. Especially since Audrey Hepburn's, like, she's really passive in this movie, or at least in the first part of it. Like, people are just kind of pushing her around and like pulling her into things. Like, she just doesn't like have a lot. I mean, eventually she becomes an actor. Like, she takes control and like realizes stuff herself.
Yeah,
but
it did take her a while to get there.
Yeah. And it's so like that on top of the fact that he was double her age, I was just like,
Okay, so I was thinking about the fact that we've been going on and on about that. And then I was remembering there's another movie where she has an iconic love interest and there is a significant age gap, but it did not bother me.
What is that?
Would you see Charade with Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn?
Was that a similar age gap there?
They made it in 1963. He was born in 1904. So he was 61 whenever the movie came out. And she was born in 1929. Damn it. 29. So what was that? She was 30.
So it was about a 20-year gap.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't remember it bothering me in Charade either.
I think
it might just literally be because Cary Grant aged better.
It might be. And also I think that he was just so well known, I think, for his acting career when he was older. And I think Fred Astaire, he had been around for so long, you know? I don't know. It didn't bother me in Charade, though. I loved Charade.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Which, I mean, she wasn't in My Fair Lady.
Oh yeah, Rex Harrison
Jesus,
too.
Jesus, that's just Audrey's thing.
She just likes them older men.
Or it's just a thing that in Hollywood, especially in that time period, they were putting older leading men with much, much younger leading women.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way things worked, and that doesn't make it better, but doesn't make it a bad movie either. The other problem I have with the movie generally was the idea, we talked about this in the car on the way home, the idea that Audrey Hepburn has a funny face.
I mean, she's real funny looking.
She's fucking gorgeous.
She's so funny looking. Have you seen her eyebrows lately? I really would wish I had her eyebrows. She's got great eyebrows.
They changed her eyebrows, but her eyebrows before they trimmed them were amazing looking.
I know.
And like I'm sitting here looking at this movie, and like we're supposed to be comparing this fashion model. Like remember when they're on the spiral staircase, and there's this fashion model, and there's this like dressed plain looking Audrey Hepburn sitting next to her, and I'm like, I don't know. I completely agree with the photographer that we need to focus the whole campaign on this one.
I agree.
She's gorgeous. And it's like the whole movie like turns on the fact that she's funny looking, right? Like that's the whole, like it's called funny face. Like that's and I'm just like, come on guys, Audrey Hepburn. Like they didn't even like that.
They didn't even try and make her look.
They didn't even try. I mean, they dressed her plainly, right? They like she wore like a very like kind of plain frock, like completely shapeless.
Yeah, you should not wear clothes like that. The lines don't work well together.
But like they did nothing to her face. Like even in like old teen movies, like I forget which one that was, like
She's All That.
She's All That. They like put glasses on her. They didn't even do anything like that. It's just like, I don't know. It just made me laugh. Like I said, it didn't ruin the movie to me, but I'm just like, okay, movie, you're trying to convince me that Audrey Hepburn looks funny, and you blow up this big picture of her beautiful face, and it's like this big, beautiful photograph. And I'm like, okay, guys.
Perfect symmetry.
Yeah.
Beautiful bone structure. Coloring. She's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what else about this movie? I liked Fred Astaire's like big number was the one in the courtyard. That was a long number.
Yeah, he did the Paso Doble.
60 years. Yeah, like it was probably like a 5-minute number.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at 60 years old, like we were talking about how he didn't age well, but he's still got a lot of energy to do that. And I'm sure he did it like a bunch of times.
Maybe he smoked a lot.
Probably did. I think everybody smoked back then.
Yeah, especially if you were a dancer.
Yeah. That would give him more energy? Smoking?
No, they did it in order to curb hunger.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm. Well, they were both very skinny people.
They were.
Poor Audrey. So skinny.
I know.
But I loved his dance in that courtyard. That was great.
He had a fun character, I think. He enjoyed himself. He did. Yeah. But you could see he was definitely leading her quite a bit. Trying to get her to do what he wanted in all of their dancing scenes together. Which also, the dancing scenes that were outside of the church, evidently the soil was so saturated from rain that they kept slipping, and it was very hard in order to film those scenes.
Well, did you see why? This is the amazingness of being a star, is Audrey Hepburn didn't want to be away from her husband. And so they stopped the entire production until her husband was also filming a film in Paris and waited. And then it was the rainy season. So they had to write the rainy season into the story. And then, it was really hard to shoot. It's just like so funny how like you can command that as a star like her. You're just
it's like Audrey Hepburn.
No, I don't. Can you imagine like me being sent on a business trip and going, no, I'm sorry, you have to wait until my wife also is going on a business trip to the same place?
So never. Maybe wait till the summer when she can go.
Yeah. I just think it's funny. Like I would never wield that kind of power ever.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing. Like the people in front of the camera always wield that power because you can't replace them. Especially when their name is Audrey Hepburn.
I know.
Or Fred Astaire.
Stare at that Freddy boy.
Yeah, but overall, I liked this movie. This is very much like, we've talked about this before, but this is an Elyse movie through and through. Like I sit there watching this movie and I'm like, yes, of course my wife loves this. It's just like the music is silly and fun. The story is makes you chuckle. Yeah. It's just a you movie. And
it is.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Well, good. I'm glad.
I'm glad too.
Got one more Audrey Hepburn movie down.
Anything else you wanted to say
Quite a
about
few more to go.
the Fooney face before we go on? I can't wait till we try to do connections between these two movies.
I'll get you there. I will get you there.
I've got some ideas in my head already, actually. Yeah.
Huh. Well,
all right, so that
else.
is Funny Face. So next week, we continue with part 2 of the Faces series with my selection, which is Face Off. I'm so excited about having you watch
take Audrey's
Face Off. It would look very funny if you did that.
It would.
I can't wait for you to see this movie because it is just so absurd. It's an action movie, so I think you might like the action parts, but
it has Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, but it also has John Travolta in it.
Oh. Both of them?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What?
It's not going to be fun.
Babe.
What?
He's going to take his face.
You better get me some dodo.
I'm not getting you any dodo.
You better give me the dodo if you want me to watch the Face Off.
No, it's not happening.
Well, I'll get it for myself then.
All right, guys. So that is all the time we have for you this week. If you like this podcast, you can check it and all the other shows we do over at our website, doofmedia.com. Also, consider donating to our Patreon account. Where is that, Elyse?
At patreon.com/doofmedia.
And how much can they donate, Elyse?
We'll take whatever you're willing to toss our way.
Your $50
$1 or more.
Your $50 minimum donation ploy did not work last week, unfortunately, but you tried, and that's all that matters.
I did.
Yeah, becoming a patron of Doof Media gives you all kinds of great access. You get access to our Discord. You get access to vote in our book club, which the vote is going on right now for next month's book. And a lot of other cool stuff. You can check all that out.
Are they going to pick something I want to read?
Probably not. At patreon.com/doofmedia. We're actually doing sequels. It's sequels month. So we're taking all the books, 5 of the books we've read before, and we nominated their sequels.
That's a good idea.
And
who thought of that?
Me.
You can think of ideas too?
Yeah. Hey. Hold up. I'm
impressed.
I'm the idea man in this partnership.
Scott, let's be real.
What?
I'm the idea person.
All right, guys.
You laugh because it's real.
It is true.
It's true.
If you happen to be listening via Apple Podcasts, you can head on over there and leave us a rating and a review. And speaking of review,
ding, 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 ding,
Elyse, do we have a new review to read this week?
We do. We have a review.
Read it.
We have a review. I might just say thank you, Braintree, because what the compliment. You said we have the best Bachelorette podcast out there. What?
That actually makes me angry.
How
Braintree.
Amazing is that? That just makes my day. So Scott and Elyse come together at least once a week to talk about movies and TV shows that they each enjoy, along with their Rosies and Thornies, their high and low points of the week. It's a great insight into how a couple can approach media and life in general together. Each episode delves deep into a theme where Scott picks a classic piece of film or TV history that Elyse didn't see at the time, and Elyse picks something nobody has ever watched or wanted to watch ever, like a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie or Tomb Raider or something. It's a shame that they don't talk to each other at all for the rest of the week, but somehow still manage to synchronize their singing every single episode. It's great. Scott's cynicism regarding the romance in obviously scripted reality television is always a high point. However, Elise's enthusiasm for the same is infectious, but not quite enough for me to want to watch it. Also, Nicolas Cage has been in a lot of very bad movies, which may or may not be his own fault. The Rock would have been better with Dwayne Johnson in it, even in 1996, and Meryl Streep might be overrated.
He said might. So... maybe.
I think the fact that he even admitted it shows that it's true.
I feel like a dog is snoring. That's getting picked up in the mic.
It's Maggie. She's snoring really loud.
I woke her up. Braintree, thank you so much for that review. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It was really good.
I enjoyed that one.
It is I really do miss us talking at other times during the week, but at least we have this. At least we have this hour together. I really appreciate it, Elyse. Thank you. Thank you.
I know. If I didn't have this, I wouldn't have your undivided attention for an hour.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Yep.
And thank you, Braintree, for leaving this review. Thank you, everyone else who has taken the time to leave us a rating and a review on the podcast.
Yeah,
it really
we got some more
does
stars.
help. We did. We got another star. We want another 5 stars.
We got more. Yeah, we don't want 1 star.
We've got
we want you to skip count by 5s, guys.
At least
5, 10, 15, 20.
One of my other shows got our first bad review. I'm so excited. We've got Ward get its first bad review. Well, it was not helpful.
Oh, well, you know.
But it did make me laugh.
That's good.
All right, guys, we'll be back next week to talk about Face Off, which I cannot wait to hear what Elyse has to say about this. I hope you can't wait to go watch Face Off this week and go watch Funny Face if you haven't.
You know what I already am going to anticipate wishing?
What's that?
That Nicolas Cage actually dies from removing his face and bleeds to death.
Well,
and then the movie ends.
I'm not going to spoil the movie for you.
I know that he changes his face with someone.
I'm not going to spoil the movie for you,
I know that
Elyse.
he does that. There's some sort of surgery and he changes his face.
The question is Nicolas Cage John Travolta? Or is John Travolta Nicolas Cage? Or is Nicolas Cage John Travolta pretending to be Nicolas Cage but actually John Travolta? Or is John Travolta Nicolas Cage pretending to be John Travolta, acting like John Travolta in Nicolas Cage's body but really still John Travolta?
Is John Travolta really John Travolta or is he a Scientologist?
Nicolas Cage is John Travolta getting to do the movie he wants to do, but then Scientology will not let him do.
So then John Travolta, who is Nicolas Cage, is now in the movie too, so that then they can have the one movie where they can swap and they can leave together.
I mean, it is true that you've never seen John Travolta and Nicolas Cage in the same place at the same time, except in this movie.
I think it's the passing of the torch.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, we'll have to come back to this conversation next week when we actually are supposed to be talking about this movie. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we will see you next week.
But I don't think we need to watch it because we already figured it all out.
I think we really do need to watch it.
No.